Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, and today I'm going to show you how to make a fun Christmas card using words of cheer. The set is from the mini catalog, the July to December 2021 mini catalog, and we're also going to be using blending brushes. I love these, and my family loves these because they're soft, and so every time they come near my desk they all have to touch my blending brushes and feel how soft they are. Too funny. So this card is a Slimline. It's a mini Slimline. So the front of the card measures 6 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. I love this size of card because I can use, when we get the 6x6 designer series paper, I can just cut a sheet in half, and then the sheet fits perfectly on the front of this card. So, but before we start stamping, I am going to, so I just realized I scored my card wrong, which means I'm gonna cut another piece. I'll save that because I can fix it on another card. But so while I'm cutting this piece of paper and fixing my scoring boo-boo, I'm gonna tell you about the seasonal sale that is happening right now. Let me look at that. There it is. So this just started today. It is a fabulous time to stock up on cardstock, dies, and ink pads. So as you can see there on the screen, our cardstock is 10% off. That doesn't include like designer series paper or anything. It's just the cardstock. And then our ink pads are 15% off. And that's just the Stampin' Up! Ink pads. It doesn't count like the Memento or the Stays On ink pads. And it's not bundles. It's just the individual ink pads. And then dies are 20% off, which is a great bargain. So if you like to stock up, or if you have a big list, now is a great time to get some of those basics, so you don't run out, especially if you like to craft a lot over the holidays. You don't want to be running out of paper or ink. That would be terrible. And don't forget that right now there's also a promotion going on. You can get the starter kit for only $75 if you're in the US, which is an amazing deal because for $75 you get to pick $125 worth of product. That's huge. And the sale prices, they work during the starter kit special. So there is no better time than right now, especially if you have a big list of things that you want, to go ahead and sign up. So if you're interested in that, then in the description of this video, there's a link that you can click to join my team. And I will do my best to support you in any way that I can. Whether you want to just sign up and get that discount, which I wouldn't blame you one bit. It's a great discount. Or if you want to do like I do and create videos and cards and be pretty active in Stampin' Up. I love Stampin' Up, and I would recommend it to anybody. So just let me know if you are interested, and let's make a card. So I'm gonna turn this back to my desk. That's looking kind of crazy now because I realized I had the wrong thing. The card scored at the wrong place. So I'm gonna put this to the side, and I'm gonna put this to the side. So this is 6 by 3 inches, and it's just basic black. So that's gonna be our mat. I'm going to use my Stamparatus again. I love my Stamparatus, so I'm using this for two reasons. One, because it is great for holding my cardstock down when I'm using my blending brushes so that I don't get my little fingerprints in the ink. But also because the stamp that we're going to be using is kind of a big stamp. It's not huge, but it's kind of big, and it's just easier to use the Stamparatus for big stamps than it is sometimes for the blocks. The blocks are good. I just really like the Stamparatus. Okay, so I'm starting with Magenta Madness, and I'm just gonna really layer on some of this color towards the top, and I want it pretty dark. So the way I thought of this card was, I was thinking the other day, you know how a lot of times at Christmas, some people do traditional colors every year, and some people change it up and have different, whatever the end color is for Christmas. So I looked up to see what colors are trending for Christmas decorations this year. And these are the colors that came up. It was fuchsia. This is the closest I think I have to fuchsia. Turquoise. So I'm using my Bermuda Bay as my turquoise. And navy. So of course, Night of Navy is what I'll be using for that. And I already made this card once, and I have to tell you, I love the way it turned out. And I'm going to show you an alternate too. If you prefer to just use reds, you don't have to use these wild and crazy colors. I just really like the way they all look together. And I thought it would be fun to do something that's very 2021 as far as Christmas colors go. So I don't know how well it's coming across on the screen, but these colors I'm laying them on pretty thick. And I am overlapping them somewhat. I really like this Bermuda Bay and Magenta Madness overlapped. It makes kind of a purplish color. And if you've watched my videos for a while, you know sometimes I get pretty picky about dividing these cards up perfectly so that so like this is a 6-inch, almost a 6-inch sheet, so I would do almost 2 inches for each color. But for this one, I'm just going with it. I'm not measuring anything. I'm just eyeballing it. Trying to let go of that perfectionist a little bit. I'm going to hold this steady for just a second and gonna go ahead and grab another magnet because that keeps wanting to move around. And I'm gonna flip it around just so it's easier for me to work with. I'm gonna grab my Night of Navy. I'm gonna put up that Bermuda Bay before I put my fingers in it. And when I'm using blending brushes, I always start off the page, off my cardstock onto the scrap page, just so I don't end up with a big blob of ink somewhere. I'm gonna move those up. So again, I'm overlapping the Night of Navy with the Bermuda Bay a little bit. I think that is good. That's some nice, rich color happening there. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. It looks okay in person, but on the screen it looks like it's a little faded. Okay. So that's the beginning of our card. I'm gonna turn it now. I'm gonna put it towards the edge here. Then I'm going to get that Words of Cheer stamp set. and figure out the placement of this stamp here. There we go. I knew it fit on there some way. I don't want it too close to the edges, so that's pretty perfect. I always like to use my bone folder to make sure my card stays put. There we go. Now I'm going to use my embossing, but actually, before I go a step further, I'm going to use my heat tool to make sure this ink is really dry. Okay, now I'm going to use my embossing buddy, get any static that's in the card out, and I'm going to stamp this image with Versamark. Make sure it's inked up really well. So as I'm pulling the plate down, I don't know if you could tell, but I was pulling out a little bit on the plate. And that's just so if I need to, it's kind of habit now. So if I'm trying to make a really dark image, sometimes I want to stamp more than once. And that helps me to make sure I'm lining it up in the exact same spot. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to sprinkle this black embossing powder over this. So our embossing powders come in sets of 3 now. And you can get basic, black, white, and clear. Which clear is great because you can use it with our colors and have colored embossing. So that's cool. And they also come in metallic, so that's the basics colors. And then you can get them in metallics, which is gold, silver, and copper. Okay, I'm going to heat this now. There we go. Looking good. You can see that shine come across. So now I'm going to place this back on my Stamparatus. And I'm going to get the Wishing You a Joyful Christmas stamp. Place it down here in the corner. I've warped my paper just a little bit with that heat, but that's okay. It'll stick down whenever I add the glue to it. I want it to be pretty straight. It's kind of a loopy font, so it's hard to see if it's really straight or not, but pretty close. Looks good to me. So I'm going to emboss this. And again, if you don't have an embossing buddy, you can use a used dryer sheet. I'm going to use the Versamark again. And again, I'm pulling down this way as I put this plate down. Sprinkle more of that black embossing powder on it. I'm just flicking off the extra when I do that. I'm going to add some more just to make sure it's covered good. Looking great. Okay, so now let's emboss this. Goes a lot faster when your heat tool's already hot. there is that embossed sentiment. And so now it's time to just put it all together. I'm going to close my embossing powder before I flip it over and have black embossing powder everywhere. Okay, I get my parts. So I'm going to start by using my liquid glue and attaching this black piece. This measures 6 by 3 inches. I'm putting it on my card base. I'm not going to worry about putting the lid back on because I'm fixing to pick it right back up. This is one of those rare cards I'm not using a single dimensional on. It's crazy. Just doesn't happen very often. Gotta hold it down just a minute because I heated it up so much I warped it. There we go. That looks great. Then I'm gonna take some of these matte black dots. I love these things. I usually go for the shiny and the bling, but these are awesome. I'm just putting a couple on there, and that is it for this card. What do you think? So again, that's Night of Navy, Bermuda Bay, and Magenta Madness. I love these colors together. So for the inside, I'm just going to show you what I've done. I didn't do anything on that one. Okay, I'm not crazy. I did it on this one. So this is the alternate card that I was telling you about. This is Cherry Cobbler, Real Red, and Poppy Parade. So you have that nice fade going, or ombre look. And then I used the white. And what was cool about this is, so this one I used the thick basic white cardstock for the actual card base, and then the black for the matte, and then I used just basic white for the top. So on this one I reversed it, which was nice because you always end up with a little scrap of this thick cardstock, and I wanted to make sure. I like to use all my cardstock. I don't like to have weird leftover pieces, so that was helpful. I used almost all of it that way. And then on the inside, I added, for this one, I added another basic white piece of cardstock just for the matte. And then I took the corner, you can see it stained my stamp. So I took just the corner of this, and I had it on a block, not on this. And I inked just a little bit, and then I laid it just on the corner here. So I stamped it, I think I stamped it in Real Red, and then I went over it again with Cherry Cobbler for this one. I would not do the same thing for this card. I think for this card, if I was going to do that, I would use probably either these two colors or these two colors. Maybe these two colors. That would be really pretty. And this stamp here is what I used to color that inside in. But I'm not going to add anything to the inside of this right now. I sometimes just like having a big white place to write. And I might decide I want to add another sentiment inside there. But those are my cards for today. I hope that you like them. And I would love to hear from you how you decorate for Christmas. Do you decorate traditionally with just reds and greens, or do you keep up with the trends and do what's current, or do you just have a favorite color or a favorite color scheme that you like to decorate with every year? I would love to hear what you do. I love looking at Christmas decorations. It's so fun. I don't love putting them up, and I don't love taking them down, but I love looking at them. So let me know if you have questions about these cards, about blending brushes or the Stamparatus, the sale that's happening now, the starter kit promotion that's going on this month. And that starter kit promotion is through November 30th. And the seasonal sale is through the 18th. And that I think it ends at 11:50 Mountain Time. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm so glad that you are here with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I get so excited every time I get a new subscriber. So thanks again for watching. Happy stamping.